What's up, folks? It's Tony Dunn with the C3 Panthers podcast. We're coming to bring you a short little discussion following the game. It's a post game where we get the instant emotional reaction. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, all your support. Remind you to smash the thumbs up button and to call the Cat Calls line 252-228-5098. I'm here with Cody Lashney and Joe Riolano. Fellas, what is up?
What's going on, Tony Dunn? The Cowgirls have been rode hard and put up wet by this Carolina defense. A win is a win. There was a lot to love. There was a lot to kind of feel iffy about. But overall, listen, man, we come out of week 1-0. You can't do anything but feel happy about that, man. It's on to Atlanta.
Joe Riolano, how you doing, my friend?
Hey man, I'm good. I'm glad we got a win, but they say good teams win ugly, and that is the perfect description for what we did today.
Yes, it is.
We won ugly.
All right, so the Panthers win. They prevail in their season opener against the Dallas Cowboys. They're able to win 16-8. Now, there are some particularly important events to this game. We lose Olsen, and it looks to be somewhat like it's going to be an issue. But our defense came in here and played lights out. The offense at times could have been better, but seemingly had enough to get the job done. And then we had massive problems with injuries on the offensive line. So guys, let's go ahead and start. Cody, we'll open it up to you. What do you think is what is your major takeaway from this game right now? The immediate takeaway.
Defense is nasty, son. Defense is absolutely nasty. And you're talking about, even though they had 2 injuries on that offensive line, you're talking about one of the better rushing attacks and offensive line tandem in the NFL, and we shut them down for all of 4 quarters. I forget when it was when they scored, but I mean, listen, this defense is for real. We were getting pressure on a pretty routine basis. The sacks didn't come until later in the game, but man, we were not letting them run the ball. Our gap soundness was just perfect. I liked what I saw. The offense, I think it's still taking some time for it to gel. I think we could really use Curtis Samuel, and I'm definitely looking forward to having him back by the time we play Atlanta. Other than that, it's a win is a win, and I really do feel like this defense can really be something really special over time.
Joey, the Panthers defense did not lose a beat without having Thomas Davis on the field, right? Shaq Thompson's in there making plays. You got to be excited with how that defensive front looks and the pressure they were able to give and their ability to just almost completely stop Ezekiel Elliott. Joey, this defense, as Cody said, is and can be nasty.
Oh, absolutely. The defensive front played lights out today. They were pestering Dak the entire game. I don't think he ever really felt comfortable back there.
No.
Constantly in his face, running him ragged. Great job by the defense today. They really did play their tails off.
All right, so on top of that, guys, is that what we had here is that it turns out that Cam Newton still needs to get his jersey dirty before he sounds off, guys. He needs to have and you guys saw this, is that he was able to
play against his team and
Sorry.
He was really able to, it started to turn it on after he had those couple of run pass options and some of those things right there. Look, is like Cody queued up. Let's play it one more time, Cody. And that is that this play by Cam Newton, what he's able to do is shed off guys and really change the momentum of this game. He gets pumped up. Look at this, is that this is running past guys. Arm tackles don't work. He's muscling guys to the ground. It's an excellent moment, but I continue to say this is good for Cam Newton. He needs to have those
play against.
He has to have those opportunities where he kind of gets out of his own head, knocks the cobwebs out of his head.
Yeah, and I also feel like our offensive attack is more potent when we're able to run with Cam Newton. He's feeling more confident. It keeps the defense on its toes. It really does. It brings a dynamic to our team where opposing defenses, they have to game plan around this. I mean, you're looking at this touchdown right here that Cam Newton scored early. And I maintain that Cam Newton is the most dynamic red zone weapon that the NFL has to offer. You're talking about a 6'5", 255-pound person that's running at that speed, and he plays quarterback. I mean, there's nothing like that. They have to game plan specifically for this. And if you notice, he was giving the ball to Christian McCaffrey, or at least he faked to Christian, but pulled it and went into the side. Now that we have these quicker weapons that can get open in space right in front of the line, I mean, that opens up way more of these kinds of plays for Cam Newton. I loved it. I thought Cam looked awesome when he was feeling it running the ball.
You know what? You get to see that. Well, actually, let's go back to this. Is the McCaffrey fumble hurt early in the game? McCaffrey's down there on the goal line, guys. Is that if he holds on to that football, at the very minimum, you're coming away with 3 points. At the best, you're coming away with a touchdown. All of a sudden, this 16-8 is looking like a 24-23-8 game or 23-7 game. Is that turnover really hurt? And it showed, I think, that if you saw is that that's kind of the concern about Christian McCaffrey between the tackles is can he really hold up when all the big boys are swinging at him? He looked good today, but you got to say that in the red zone, you can't cough the ball up like that.
Yeah, you definitely. Oh, go ahead, Joey.
Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I mean, maybe in the red zone, he's not necessarily your money player, but I do think that he is capable of being the type of power back that we do want him to. I apologize if this has sound. I'll mute it real quick. But Christian had some good runs early, man. It's all about if our line gives him the opportunity to make plays. And you can see that Sean Lee tried to stonewall him right there. And but yeah, he's putting on some weight. He really wants to prove himself as our bell cow running back. But yeah, I feel like that was just kind of a mistake play. I don't feel Christian is really known for fumbles. I mean, he's not a guy that his career hasn't been very long, but it hasn't been a problem with him as of late. But it definitely halted our momentum early. Go ahead, Joe. What were you going to say, man?
What I was going to say was, I think when any running back is running on the interior of the line, especially like between your center and your guards, you got to put both hands on the ball, man.
Yeah,
you cannot try to shimmy through there with only one hand on the ball, because those guys are bigger, they're stronger, and given the right opportunity, like we saw, they'll be able to bat a ball free. That's why most running backs do put two hands on the ball. And I'm sure he learned. Thankfully, it didn't cost us, but good teams don't lose those red zone opportunities, don't come away with no points, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys think Cam looked tonight? because I mean, obviously he's unstoppable on the run plays. The offense had its ups and downs at moments in this game. At the same time is that I feel like, I mean, he had one pass he threw into double coverage. I felt like he got away with early in the game that was just knocked down. But overall I think that Cam is looking comfortable and looking confident, and to the point where is like, all right, once we got this out of our way, we get this under our belt. I think that Cam is going to continue to grow as a passer in this passing game. I thought that he looked there mentally. And I tell you, another guy that looked there to me was Devin Funchess. This guy's about to show out, man. He made some really good catches, all hands catches on some bullets in some critical times. You got to be happy, and he's playing for a contract. Cody, you go ahead and start with that. How do you think overall Cam Newton played, and are you kind of optimistic about where he can go?
I'm very optimistic, and it almost kind of annoys me on one specific play. I'll mute the audio here. On this play right here, Cam to Devin, Cam puts that at the most perfect place that a quarterback can. It has to be right in the direct spot, or else Devin is about to be lit up like a candle.
And Joe Buck has to say he throws it behind him.
Exactly.
I was screaming too.
But listen, man, this is it. Cam Newton can do everything that you want him to do. And listen, we're all Panthers fans, so I'm preaching to the choir, especially everyone watching this. But when Cam Newton has time, we have seen him make every single throw that you need him to make. And more importantly, today, I think he has something like a 60% passer rating. And it would have been even more if he would have had a little time a little later in the game when the pocket started to collapse on him after Darrell Williams went down, which that's another thing that I know we have to talk about. Other than that, with Cam Newton, I'm impressed with him. I always am. It's not just my homer. I thought that he genuinely looked impressive tonight. And I'm excited, man. If he has a little bit of help this season, it could be a big deal for him.
Joey, let's go to Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams goes down and grabbing his knee, clutching his knee. This has been, it seems like it is the same knee that he has had problems with in training camp, where he tore a MCL, I believe, and dislocated his kneecap. So Darrell Williams goes down, and I think it was Trey Seagroves on Twitter. I have to go look up the exact handle. But he said prior to the game, I'm just a little worried that we're rushing Darrell Williams back too quickly. Again, I think that obviously we saw that was the case. Maybe it wasn't even too quickly, but it certainly it wasn't stable enough. It kind of reminded me of Peanut Tillman a little bit. Do you remember when we had I think it was the 2015 season where Peanut Tillman got hurt with something with his knee? He sat out 2 weeks. It was like a partial tear, and then it ended up fully tearing in the game. Obviously that was not structurally stable. Darrell Williams goes down. Amini Silatulu comes back in, and he is awful, Joey. Where is this? This offensive line is in real trouble.
Pressure went up on Cam. Immediately, as soon as Silatulu stepped in, the pressure was ramped up, and it was starting to get to Cam. I don't know if you guys were able to see it. I wish I could have brought in the video. It was either the first or second play where Gregory put a move on Silatulu. And
Cody's got it right now.
I don't know if it's that in particular play, but
if it's one of many, obviously.
That's the one, yeah.
And if you look at, guess who's playing right tackle on that snap is Ian Thomas. I think he was playing guard there. I'm not entirely sure, but
I think they just had him over there adding some extra help because they all don't trust Minnesota totally.
Right, he was supposed to help me.
Well, there ain't no help in that.
He's not the solution. He's not even a temporary fixture. I think it was Igo from Carolina Huddle that said, "This is it. Hurney has to make a move."
I said that. I tweeted that too. Is that Marty Hurney has to make a trade, like a big one, at this point. Like, it can't just be another little dude. At some point, you have to just try to address this. You cannot let this end your season.
Exactly right. Yeah, I felt like Williams should have had the surgery. Should have just sat out the year and had the surgery.
Joey, I was wondering this. When speaking on that, Joey, is this a kind of an ugly part of the game where guys are either under so much intense pressure to play so they don't lose their spot, so they don't lose their opportunity to get paid, and or are teams placing a crazy amount of pressure on these guys to come back? I could see the Carolina Panthers really leaning on Darrell Williams to come and play today. What is he going to do? Say no?
Right, of course. And, I'm sure he wants to play. But then you add the fact that the Panthers are pushing him toward rehabbing and then coming back. And then look what happens.
And it's like, remember that video you played of Ron Rivera saying we're stacked on the offensive line? Well, he knew damn well that would work, because if he thought that, Darrell Williams wouldn't have been rushed back for Dallas.
I think Joey was right. He had to have misspoken. Joey is right on that. He had to have misspoken.
Yeah,
there is like
no way.
It's like it's just crazy lunacy. All right, so Marty Hurney, look, we needed to see the Corey Robinson guy out there. That would have helped. And I'm not saying that. Yeah, exactly. It might have helped, but we saw enough of Amini Silatulu. The Panthers are going to have to go. He's not even close. Like you said, he's not even a temporary couple of plays answer. As soon as he got in, and to be fair to him, he's coming off of an injury in a rushed rehab himself. So he wasn't very good when he was healthy, and now this is all going on as well. So we'll continue to monitor the offensive line and how that's going. But right now, and then Cody, you said as well that Ryan Khalil both reported that he was under the weather.
Apparently he had a fever going into the game or something. So,
right, he was exhausted. They showed him, I think it was when he got the face mask penalty. After he got that face mask penalty, they were kind of showing him where the referees were, making the call, and he looked just like exhausted. The look on his face, he looked pale and, just completely spent.
My heart goes out to the man.
Yeah, Cody's been feeling under the weather this past week. We hope you can shake it off by Tuesday, because we're going to have to rush rehab you back into the game. Your spot your spot on the panel is always there's always the next man up. All right. So
I'll take one for the team. Put me in, Coach.
There you go. Cody, let me ask, how tough, how do we get through these injuries? Because I really feel like, look, you saw Luke Kuechly suffer a knee injury. It was scary to the point of when you see it. Like, here's the thing is that I feel like if Cam, Luke, Peppers, or KK go down, like those could be season-ending injuries for our entire team. Anyone
no doubt. Listen, make no mistake about it. If Cam Newton goes down, we're done. If Luke goes down, I wouldn't necessarily say that we're done, but I don't believe that we're a Super Bowl team. I think that maybe we might contend for a wild card. It's tough, man. I don't know if you saw there was a rainbow during the broadcast. Did any of you wish upon it? Because that might have been
what brought Luke Kuechly back.
Yeah, that might have been one of our only options to maybe shore up that offensive line. I don't know, man. It's tough. You're not able to have depth at every position on your team, so we don't have a lot of depth everywhere. And the fact that Thomas Davis is still out, we had to put more linebackers on the roster. I don't know. I know you want Hurney to make a trade, but the problem is I just don't know who you trade for at this point in the juncture. And what did you even give up for them? I mean, how many draft picks are we talking? How many? It depends on what kind of player you're talking about also. So,
yeah, I mean, but we need somebody that can just give us a shot. That's it. Is that like you don't really feel like right now where we're at, we have a shot to stop any pressure off the right side? Like not any. Not even. I'm not talking about I need them to be good.
The Dallas Cowboys defensive front is not the most formidable. There are teams we're going to be playing that are way better along the defensive line. So this is our best performance with the line we have now versus Dallas. We're in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, Moton looked good. I felt like he played pretty well. He had one holding call against him.
Other than some penalties, there were some times that even DeMarcus Lawrence couldn't do what he wanted. And then he also had some plays where he kind of slipped. And, listen, man, this is essentially his rookie season in the NFL. He's going to have some growing pains.
All right, so we got these injuries which we could have expected with Darrell Williams, but it's amplified by the fact that Greg Olsen goes down. It looks like it is a foot injury. He was on crutches on the sideline. Yeah. He had foot surgery last year, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is this another one that is a sustainable thing? Because Ian Thomas looked good out there as a rookie, but again, he is a rookie, and we saw how much and how important Greg Olsen can be with that big catch he rained down earlier in the game where he goes up and he jumps probably as high as he could jump to get this ball from Cam Newton. It was a great catch, okay throw. But then losing him, I think this is, again, I've been saying that we've been thin at tight end and that Greg Olsen is getting older. This is a tough spot. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Ian Thomas. Man hurts. And I guess what we're going to have to see is Alex Arma play a different and more dynamic or diverse type of player as more than a fullback is, I guess. Because unless you're going to go and bring up you could bring in Vanderland, right?
Yeah, from the practice squad. But he was battling an injury too, so I don't know how ready to go he is either. But he was impressive in practice. I mean, also another thing to remember, C.J. Anderson is a really good pass blocker. So maybe you put Arma, who got a touchdown tonight, maybe you put Arma and CJ on the field at the same time to counter for that. But then it limits your offensive play calling. Because if you're having to do that, if you have no choice but to do that, it limits how you stretch the field.
Additionally, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, I'm hoping that what happened to Greg is not a re-injury of the problem he had last year.
Yeah, me too.
We haven't heard anything yet, have we?
No, it's too early at this point. Ron Rivera did say, though, that he doesn't Actually, I take it back. No, Ron Rivera did say that he doesn't think that it's the same injury that it was last year. As a matter of fact, he said it pretty matter of fact. That
but
it
he's
wasn't.
lied. He straight lied to us about
take that.
injuries. But all right,
Yeah,
don't worry,
no doubt.
it is. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have no evidence that says it is, but to see like nobody saw him come down wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or like,
foot. Did you see that where he stepped on the guy's foot and right after
is that?
Yeah.
So
that is what.
At the very least, if it's the same foot, it's a re-aggravation.
It is the same foot.
Yeah, so like you could say it's not the same injury all you want, but that's like saying that you got a concussion, and then when you get a headache, you're like, well, it's not the same, it's not related. Well,
right.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. How can you definitively say that?
You can't.
Right?
There's no way Ron Rivera could really know that.
Right. All right, last two topics, and we'll get out of here because, guys, look, the C3 Panthers podcast is on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., where we will go more into depth about not only this game, but we will also be previewing the Falcons. And good news, guys, the New Orleans Saints get spanked in their own house by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons lost. And now the Panthers are tied for the division lead with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to be feeling good about that if you are down in the dumps when it comes to this, all the injuries. This is got to be the most snake-bitten Panthers team that we have seen in a long time. Last thing is that, guys, first, McCaffrey looked nasty and deadly on the pitch option where Cam Newton goes and it's the run they run the option and he flips it to McCaffrey. You got him out. He's looking explosive there. So you got a second-year player in McCaffrey who's starting to step into his role. What did you guys also think about? I thought Dante Jackson played pretty well, and I thought that pass interference call on Dante Jackson had to be one of the weakest calls in the history of mankind.
I thought it was ticky-tack. It really was a ticky-tack call.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so going forward is let's finish this on an optimistic note, guys. Why don't you pick a player or someone that stuck out to you, and kind. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me go. I wanted to mention this earlier, but this is a perfect opportunity right now. You know who impressed me tonight, guys? Who we didn't see much of in the preseason, but he really showed out to me tonight. Darius Wright.
I agree.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Or not amazing. That's a little bit over the top, but you're right. He did play very well.
He did.
Yeah, and it looks like this is that if we do have injuries at the tight end position, you can run more sets that have a slot receiver in the slot, and that he would be competent. So Darius Wright for Joey. Cody, who you got?
Listen, man, mine's so easy, and I've said it before, but I don't care. I have a man crush, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, dude. It's this man right here. It's number 59. He said, Zeke, who? Who is Ezekiel Elliott, and why is it on my field, dude? Why is it here? Get off. Listen, that's what I'm saying. Luke, I mean, maybe I'm biased. I think Luke is a top 3 defensive player in the NFL. He changes things for us so much. My heart was literally in my throat when he was holding his knee on the field. He does so much. Yeah, I know, man. Everyone was. He does so much for our defense. And teams are going to want to run the ball. Having a healthy offense is predicated on running the ball. But Luke and our linebackers makes it so that that doesn't happen. So it is very important for us going forward. A crucial part of our defense. I'm all in on number 59, man.
For me, it's a coin flip between two defensive players, and KK Short looked pretty darn good out there as usual. He's got to be the sexiest man with a belly I've ever seen in my life. And Julius Peppers, boy, is that he is timeless. That the guy was a real – he was given that right tackle, and that may have been La'el Collins. I'm not sure about that. He might have been playing guard. But whoever their right tackle was, he was giving him fits. Even if he wasn't getting to the quarterback, he looked strong. He looked fast. He looked like he just he just knows the angles. He is amazing. So between him and KK Short, and a little tip of the cap, guys, Vern Butler played pretty well tonight.
He did. I did notice his presence, and that's at least a start, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we're going to be rotating players, and he's important for us to be able to do that.
I got to say, the Panthers defense does need to tighten up the zone a little bit. Boy, man, on those zone throws on the third down, good God, they would just – Cole Beasley was eating us alive, and some small dink and dunk stuff where it just always seemed like Munnerlyn was 2 steps behind or not, and I'm not trying to dog on him. It was just one. I just kept seeing 41 in the frame when I saw those plays. So we'll continue, guys. Look, this is just a quick little kind of almost impromptu post-game discussion about the Carolina Panthers, where we wanted to, in their victory, 1-0 to start the season, tied for division lead. I can continue to say that because next week we will be the division leaders when we beat Atlanta, and Tampa Bay reminds us that they only play well when they go to New Orleans. They never wait until New Orleans comes to their house. They're going to get spanked. But, guys, there is a lot to be excited about on the defensive side of the ball. I think there is room for growth on the offensive side of the ball, but there's also some real problems that are facing us personnel-wise. And we will continue to discuss those on Tuesday night live at 9 p.m. And it's the C3 Panthers podcast. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out and doing this with me tonight.